Here's the question. What surprised you the most about the public reaction to the proposed sign ordinance zoning change?
Thank you. Certainly we heard from the citizens on this issue, and we reacted appropriately. I would, though, say, even though the individual spent over $400,000 of his own money to gather those signatures, I do have a problem with that because I think that bodes very ill for the future, that one individual can kind of dictate the policies of the city. So that's a separate issue, part of that, but to be able to spend $400,000 to gather signatures, that can happen at any point in this city, and I would be very cautious in how we handle something like that in the future.
Ms. Davis.
I opposed relaxing the standards on the sign ordinance, and I was glad that it turned out the way that it did. What surprised me was that, this is one of those very complicated answers, what surprised me was that the real concern of the citizenry was discounted because of the method by which we ended up with the result. That some people seem to feel that the fact that there was this gentleman who came in and helped out with it, that was somehow a reason to think that everybody else was duped. I don't think they were duped. I think they had a real concern about illuminated signs on high buildings and changing the character, particularly of the Charles River Basin.
Thank you. Thank you. Tom Stolman.
Thank you. I just will start by saying I oppose the changes on the broadest principle, that I do think that the riverfront is a tremendously valuable asset in Cambridge, and I don't think we figured out how to turn it into the crown, the jewel in the crown that it is. I will say there was a tremendous amount of misinformation in the campaign. I was opposed to it. My vote was the one, my point of view is the one that the council eventually adopted. But I do think that the whole campaign was filled with a lot of information that wasn't clarifying any issue in a useful way for the citizens and for the city.
Mr. Chung.
Thanks. I guess I ran into a few of the petition gatherers, mostly I think from Missouri or Minnesota, or a state but not Massachusetts. And if the council, the proposal that community development gave to the council was what they were describing it as, I would absolutely not have supported it. But the fact is that there was a distortion of the truth. And so I think it ended how it did, but I think the broader principle for me is that if there's somebody who's spending just inordinate amounts of money beyond the means of an average member of our community, I just think that the council should not just fold over and allow it to pass, or that we have to offer some kind of resistance, because I just adamantly against the use of money to drive politics.
Thank you. Craig Kelley.
I thought the sign ordinance was a bad idea from the start. I had no problem with the money involved. If you look at all of us here at the table, I'll bet combined we're going to spend well over $500,000 on this race. And if anyone's going to be talking about money in politics, I don't think it's us up here and casting that stone.
Ms. Simmons.
What surprised me was the misrepresentation of the truth. If we're saying that the citizens' voice was heard, that was the right outcome. For me, it came about the wrong way. The people that were gathering these signatures didn't live in Cambridge, couldn't get around. They were asking for directions on how to get a cup of coffee. So for me, I was very dismayed that people were hired to come into Cambridge to misrepresent what the actual question was. So that my surprise was the misrepresentation.
Mr. Reeves.
Well, I'll take the short form. I agree totally with Councilor Chung and with Councilor Simmons. I want to use the term shocked and appalled. I find that I love Cambridge, and I want it to be the place where democracy really is exemplary, and I think to literally hire goons and fly them in here and tell lies to people about what the council was doing, it was absolutely one of the worst things I've encountered in Cambridge. And to know that you can bring your $400,000 in and cover everybody was detestable. I hope it never ever happens that I know in Cambridge again. It was a regrettable incident.